If McCain's motives for helping Georgia, or at least sounding like he was helping Georgia, remain unknowable, another aspect of his conduct much more open to meaningful scrutiny tonight. Is he any good at this foreign policy stuff? The foreign leader whose friendship McCain has talked about endlessly since last week, evidence of his knowledge, experience, now on record, calling McCain out, as we heard earlier. Joining us now with his thoughts on the implications, Clarence Page, the Pulitzer Prize-winning syndicated columnist of the Chicago Tribune. Great, thanks for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you for inviting me, Keith.
There is obviously substance to explore here, but first, if you would just dissect the impact of that statement from Saakashvili about McCain's "We are all Georgians" line.
Well, Saakashvili obviously is very happy to have McCain's support. He's had it for a while. He's had this relationship, as you mentioned, talked with him back in April. And I think really did expect there to be some kind of tripwire that McCain would help him to trip. And McCain certainly gave a more bellicose, belligerent statement about Georgia than President Bush did, certainly initially. And that is in line with McCain's attitude toward Putin for quite some time, who appears to still be running things over in Moscow. But I'm just wondering, Keith, how we would have felt if Barack Obama had said, I speak for all the people of the United States, and saying we are all Georgians now. Some people might call that a little arrogant.
On the substance, Saakashvili today not naming McCain specifically, but telling reporters he's been warning about this for more than a year. But his quote was, Western leaders dismissed those warnings. Here, this brings up another point. If McCain is indeed as close to Saakashvili as he claims to be, what did he do about those warnings? Was he one of the ones dismissing them?
Well, if so, and McCain apparently did, I mean, we didn't hear any alarm bells being rung. He was in line with the Bush administration, which also didn't ring any alarm bells about this either. It looks like the West was largely caught by surprise by Moscow's invasion of these disputed regions. Well, certainly South Ossetia, and looks like they're heading toward Abkhazia now. So I think in that line, John McCain was certainly very supportive of Georgia, very supportive of the Georgian government, but didn't apparently have any better intelligence than the rest of us.
Is it fair to ask whether McCain helped to sort of tick this thing off or instigate it with rhetoric that signaled to Saakashvili, sure, go ahead, we have your back. If you're looking to reclaim South Ossetia, go for it.
Well, it certainly doesn't help. Like Jonathan Alter mentioned, the Hungary example. It also reminds me of in Iraq, the folks who wanted to rise up in the South against Saddam Hussein took the first President Bush's rhetoric as a promise that they would get U.S. support. They didn't. This is the kind of thing that we have to be very careful about. John McCain today, answering questions from reporters, was careful to say we don't want to be political about this, but of course he is running for president. So anything he says is going to be taken very seriously by a lot of people, whether it's folks here domestically wondering about his fitness to be president, or folks overseas wondering about signals that he's giving as to both what he feels and also what the Bush administration feels, whether that's a correct impression or not.
Clarence, last point. Today in talking about Georgia, McCain actually said, in the 21st century, nations don't invade other nations. Do you suppose the irony of what he said was lost on Mr. McCain, and does he assume nobody's going to draw the obvious parallel with his full support? We invaded Iraq in the 21st century, and 5 years later, we're still there?
I think he's hoping that we don't draw significance from it, but I think we will. I think you just did. This is the kind of thing that people are looking at in assessing John McCain. Look, the polls show that he's ahead of Barack Obama when it comes to credibility on national security issues and international relations. We also know that John McCain has an Achilles heel in his reputation for being quick-tempered. He has not been quick-tempered during this campaign, but his bellicose response to this move by Russia on Georgia and his general view that has been somewhat to the right of the Bush administration here is going to be questioned.
The columnist Clarence Page of the Chicago Tribune and many other fine newspapers. Great thanks for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, Keith.